Alright, welcome to yet another Vintage Cube Draft. Here we have a fairly uninteresting pack. I think Liliana has a chance in some sort of deck. I think Tamiyo is not bad in the Planeswalker control decks. Mox Diamond is a card I like a lot of the time. Helps with mana fixing as well as acceleration. Everflowing Chalice is a pretty decent mana rock. I think Treasure Cruise is good in most decks. I think honestly it's going to be my pick here. I like being in blue. I think Mana Gorger Hydra has a good shot in the cube as just being a cheap creature that becomes huge. Smash for Smithereens is also a good red card. Alright, so I'm feeling a little spicy this draft. I think it's time to take a second pick Griselbrand. I've been drafting a lot of slow sort of fair decks, and I'm just feeling like this draft I want to make into something unfair. I got some extra play points, Gonna see if I can maybe spew off a draft and play something sweet for once. Griselbrand, we can get into either a Sneak and Show shell or Reanimator or anything like that. And he's also just castable. 8 mana isn't totally obscene. So we'll go ahead and pick him up. Alright, this is kind of step 1 to a Reanimator shell. We have Corpse Dance. Not the worst reanimation spell. It's Shallow Grave for 1 more mana, but you can buy it back. Other cards in the pack, Gurmag Angler is just kind of a fair creature. True Name, again, it's just another fair creature that is pretty much impossible to interact with. Sword of Fire and Ice might be one of the best swords in the cube, probably tied with the blue-green sword as far as cards go. I think I'm just going to take Corpse Dance here. We'll try and move in towards maybe a Reanimator shell. Some cards we're looking for, maybe slightly more permanent reanimation spells. I usually think Shieldred is good in this type of deck. Maybe cards like Entomb or Living Death to pick up early on. Well, this pack is a Scavenging Ooze, which is good against us, but we don't really want that. I could see taking Sensei's Divining Top to sort of help us dig for our combo, or I think I'm just going to take this Vendilion Clique. It's a solid blue card. Let's just check to see if the way is clear for our animation spells. Alright. Recurring Nightmare. That's a pretty decent early pickup. Obviously, you can just use it to get back busted creatures like Griselbrand, or you can build a deck around it so that you can sort of make a busted Recurring Nightmare deck. So I'll go ahead and pick that up. Another thing that I'd like in this deck, all the Ponder and Preordain effects that I could grab would be nice. Like this Anticipate is pretty good. I'm going to take it over Sylvan Library here. As much as I like Sylvan Library as a card, since it's not really much of a green effect, I just don't want to splash this when I can just stay in blue right now. Anticipate is a pretty solid card, so we'll continue moving in this direction. Alright, well, that actually does change my mind. I think Oath of Druids is a really sweet pickup early on, so we can build like a Oath of Druids Reanimator deck. Let's try and go into that. I haven't managed to, in the last cube draft, I drafted Oath of Druids a ton. I haven't managed to put together a good Oath deck yet in this version of the cube, but I definitely think it's a powerful card if you can pick it up early enough. So many decks still rely on creature damage to win the game. I think it's pretty solid, even if it's just a splash. But we could definitely be in like a Bug Reanimator control style deck. This pack I'm not too excited about. I'm going to take Frost Titan, since it's just a big fair creature. It's a pretty decent one. Here, I suppose I will take Putrid Imp. It's a discard outlet. It's not great if we end up being on the Oath of Druids plan, but it's fine if we're just a Reanimator deck. Hopefully we can get a few more fatties to put into play with Oath of Druids. At this point, I'd like something like an Elishnorn maybe, or a Blightsteel Colossus. I'm gonna take something that I'm gonna pick as if this Oath of Druids is gonna be good later on in our deck. Normally, I think I'd take Mesmeric Fiend here as a nice interactive card that goes into our black deck and is good with Recurring Nightmare. But I think I'm gonna take Spell Pierce here as, one, it's a solid card on its own, and two, it's better with Oath of Druids. Same sort of deal here. I'm just going to take Arbor Elf because it's a decent card no matter what. Not particularly good with Oath of Druids. Here I'm going to end up taking Breeding Pool, get some fixing on. And Cabal Ritual doesn't seem like it would be totally awful, so we'll try that. And Necropotence. So, I mean, like, we could always be like the classic vintage Oath deck where we play Griselbrand Storm. That's always an out. We pick up like a Yawgmoth's Will or something like that. That could be pretty sweet. This pack, I kind of dig Burial Rites. I also kind of dig Dig Through Time and Rakdos Signet. If our plan is to play Oath of Druids, I could see taking Dig Through Time. Could also see taking Dragonlord Silumgar. I'm going to go ahead and take, for me it's between Dig Through Time, Coalition Relic, and Rakdos Signet. Coalition Relic is just a great splashing card, but I think I'm going to take Dig Through Time. It helps us find what we need, as I'm sure we'll pick up some powerful spells along the way. Here we have some more fatties. I'm going to either pick Ulamog or Sunring Titan, trying to figure out which one I think would be better. And I usually think it's Ulamog, so I'm going to go with that. Eldrazi are pretty great in general. Alright, Vampiric Tutor. It's not a bad card. I think here I'm going to take Hinterland Harbor. Don't really know what position we're in for the deck. It's so close between Vampiric Tutor and Hinterland Harbor. I'm actually going to go with Vampiric Tutor. I think Vampiric Tutor is just a solid card. If we're going to play even remotely close to a combo Reanimator style deck, I think it's nice to have a way to find the other half of our combo. So let's go with that. Alright. I can definitely see us moving into like a Oath of Druids Storm here. We have a Dark Petition in this pack, which with Reanimate spells is just powerful. We can get Necropotence out of our deck, or even like just find our Griselbrand and maybe cast it. Who knows? I think though I might take Makeshift Mannequin or Progenitus here. I'm taking a look at our deck right now, and I'm trying to figure out whether Oath of Druids or Reanimator is a stronger plan. And I think right now, I want another Reanimate spell to try and maximize on that. Here's some good, we're going to take a Necromancy here. It's another permanent Reanimate spell. I also like Inquisition of Kozilek and Utter End, and Tasigur for that matter. But Necromancy is going to help secure our ability to actually get our creatures back into play. Pentad Prism, I think, is a solid pick here. We need a little bit of ramp in this deck, and it's color fixing. So, that helps us out. I'm not a huge fan of the Lotus Bloom there. Alright, so I think at this point, we have enough of this type effect. I think I'm going to take a... Well, this is so awkward because I want to make a deck that's good with Oath of Druids, while also being good with Reanimate spells. So let's take a look at this. If this is like something that we would play right now, I'm trying to figure out what we would take here. I suppose we can always take Woodland Cemetery and just stay open. I think I might be trying to go too deep into this deck, but you know, that's not so bad. Bring to Light doesn't find anything we care about. I'm actually going to take this the old Empty the Warrens Oath of Druids deck. I'm going to take Una's Prowler. Is just maybe moving it back into pure reanimation. Here I'm going to take Unburial Rites on the same plan. I'm going to take Necrotal. It's good with Recurring Nightmare. I suppose we can take a Stomping Ground in case we find a fetch land for it. I'm trying to figure out what this deck wants to do. And it's right now a little janky, but I think it can come together. Problem with taking the Ulamog is we currently only have, there we go, we got Gifts Ungiven back. That actually is pretty good for us. We now have Gifts Ungiven, Unburial Rites as a combo. Gifts Ungiven, it gets Unburial Rites and like Grizzlebrand as the only two cards. I get to reanimate something. So, if I can play white in this deck with, say, the Pentad Prism, that would be pretty good. Dragonlord Dromoka, is that better than Utterend? I think having a interactive card in this deck could be maybe good for the deck. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. If we're planning on splashing white for the Unburial Rites, it definitely works out. This deck is a little janky as it is right now, but it could get places. We have an entire other pack. I think it could use some more fast mana to have some turbo starts, or maybe a 2 mana Imperial Seal made all around. That's pretty sweet for us. Maybe a 2 mana reanimate spell like Animate Dead or even actual reanimate would be pretty good for us to give us turn 2 wins. Well, quote unquote wins. So how does Necromancy read? Can I end step this? Ooh, Emrakul Oath of Druids. Are we? That might actually just be doing it. And a Phyrexian Metamorph. All right, this pack is kind of sweet. It makes me want to play more of an Oath of Druids plan. So can you end step? Okay, so you cannot end step a Necromancy, unfortunately, to keep an Eldrazi around that you pitched. This is an interesting one. I'm going to go ahead and take this Emrakul. There's a multitude of cards we could wheel, but I think I want to move in on being a sort of hardcore Oath of Druids deck. Oh, and there's a Mox Sapphire here. Yeah, now this is what we call doing it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Mox Sapphire. Definitely the best Mox in the cube. Ooh, now this is a reanimate target. Ulamog. I think this is just one of the best fatty creatures in the cube now. I really wish I could take this Izzet Signet, but this card really does it all for us. It gives us another fatty that honestly can just win, and it's like one attack is lethal. And then it also gives us the out of Oathing into it, which is equally good. Alright, so here we have Buried Alive, which I think is a great way to find our creatures to reanimate. You can also see taking Duress. Could also even see taking Elvish Mystic, but I think green is just a little wee bit splash for us. Could always take Mystical Tutor. It finds us things like Gifts Ungiven. Nah, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Buried Alive in this deck. It lets us find a sort of combo package for the deck, which is nice. Oh, Yawgmoth's? I think this might just be the best. Maybe Show and Tell, though? Wow, this is crazy. Man, there's so many cards I could wheel here. Blightsteel's another good one. I can't reanimate it, but I can always Oath of Druids into it. I think I just want to take Show and Tell, though. And then maybe Yawgmoth's somehow Yawgmoth's wheels around, and we can just be on that plan. Alright, here we go. Show and Tell. And a Phantasmal Image? Oh, hold on. Do I just want to be trying to live the dream? I don't think I can storm off if I get Yawgmoth's back. I think Phantasmal Image might just be a good card for our deck. We get to Show and Tell down a fatty. Well, they're all legendary. So maybe Hymn to Tourach is the answer here. Or Temple of Enlightenment lets our white splash happen. Yeah, Temple seems good, now that I think about it. Same maybe with Godless Shrine here. We're missing out on Entomb, but I think our deck has enough tutor effects that we can get out with that. I just need a little more mana for the deck. Oh, Animate Dead? And this pack has been pretty great for us. Yeah, I think Animate Dead is where we're looking at here. So, do we just want to be on like a turbo fatty deck? Phyrexian Metamorph, is that good in our deck? Maybe, maybe not. I could see it in the sideboard at the very least. Maybe I want Wasteland though. It slows our opponent down. I'll take a Metamorph. There's a non-zero chance I play it. Could take Wall of Roots. Could be my one creature. I like Scroll Rack though. It lets us reset fatties into our deck, which I think is going to be really good. Here's a Temple Garden for our mana base. Oh, and Mystical Tutor wheeled around. Our deck is just looking very consistent now. I can start making some cuts. Like, I wish I could play Necrotol as a control card, but I think we're just going to be doing better things. I can cut Recurring Nightmare. There's now a Blightsteel in our deck. I think this is enough fatties, honestly. Alright, I think this is a pretty decent Reanimator deck. We've got 2 solid Reanimate targets, a bunch of ways to find them. We have infinitely great Oath of Druids targets. So right now we are at 6, so 24. We need to cut one more card. I think it's going to be either Dig Through Time or Treasure Cruise. And I think Dig is going to be better in our deck. That would be 23 right here. Is there any cards I look through here and I think are obviously bad? No, I mean, this looks pretty good. Makeshift Mannequin is another way to reanimate an Ulamog or an Emrakul if I need to, since those triggers do go on the stack. Is there something... Do I want to replace this Utter End? No, I think this deck is just good. I could play this Temple of Plenty now. Yeah, we have plenty... Our green and white splash I think is solid. So, here is our deck. It is what it is. It's definitely an interesting one. I think as far as Reanimator decks goes, this one is pretty solid. Let's hope I can Mermaid House. Already done. Already done. They're all huge. Let's go ahead and move this over here. Let's take out Definitely have plenty of green sources. Don't need any more of those. Alright, what's this recommend? 2 white cards. I can get behind having maybe 10 more lands in this deck, and it's telling me to have 9. Get behind having 2 planes. 3, 4, 5, 6 blue sources. I don't think I like. I kind of want one more. Go up to 7. 5, 6, 7 black sources. That I think is more reasonable. We don't have a single double black spell that we want to cast. Griselbrand definitely does not count. Well, this is 9. Could see dropping that back down to that. Could also see. Oh no, we have plenty of white sources. We have 4, 5 for 2 cards. Now I think I'll even play something more like this. Let's sort. Yeah, I think this looks good. Alright, I'll see you guys in the first match. Hope we get there.